The soft morning light filtered through the windows of Kelechi's modest apartment, casting long shadows across the worn wooden floor. He sat at the edge of his bed, staring blankly at the message on his phone. His clothes were simple, neat, but unassuming plain white shirt and faded jeans that made him look like any other young man struggling to make ends meet. Yet behind his calm exterior, a secret pulsed like a heartbeat. Kelechi was not struggling at all. In fact, he was a millionaire. Every night he checked his accounts and smiled quietly, marveling at the fortune he had amassed from a tech investment that no one in his family, not even his closest relatives, knew about. Today, however, he would face the ultimate test. Today, he would ask his family for help. Walking through the streets of Lagos, the warm sunlight bouncing off the modern buildings, Kelechi rehearsed his words. Every step was measured, every breath deliberate. He knew the delicate balance of truth and deception rested on the edge of his lips. In his heart, he wondered how his family would react. Would they offer support, or would they reveal the cracks in their loyalty? He arrived at the family townhouse, a place of elegance and modern comfort, and paused at the gate, taking in the scene. His mother, Mama Ifeoma, sat gracefully on the living room couch in a bright Ankara gown, her posture regal yet concerned. His elder brother Chima, dressed in a sharp jacket, was absorbed in his phone, the business-like aura surrounding him. Ada, his younger sister, scrolled absent-mindedly on her device, seemingly unaware of the storm about to enter their lives. Kelechi stepped inside, his voice barely above a whisper as he called out, "Good morning, everyone. I need a little help." The words fell softly, yet each syllable felt like a stone in his chest. Ada looked up, her eyebrows raising in surprise. "Help with what?" she asked, her tone carefully neutral. Kelechi's eyes flicked between them, the weight of anticipation making his chest tight. "Rent. I'm short this month," he admitted, his voice quivering slightly, betraying both vulnerability and courage. Silence swept the room, thick and suffocating. Mama Ifeoma adjusted her glasses and frowned slightly. "Kelechi, I thought you had a stable job," she said, concern woven into her voice. "I do, but things didn't go as planned," he replied, keeping his tone calm, hiding the fire of frustration burning within. Chima, seated with a stern expression, leaned back in his chair and spoke sharply. "So, you come here asking for money?" His words struck like a sudden clap of thunder, echoing in the walls of the room. Ada's lips pressed into a thin line. "Why didn't you plan better?" she asked softly, the disappointment in her voice undeniable. Kelechi swallowed hard, forcing a tight smile as he felt the sting of rejection. He had helped them countless times in the past, quietly supporting their needs. Yet now he sat here, seeking their kindness, and it seemed so fragile. The camera would slowly zoom in on his trembling hands, capturing the subtle tremor that betrayed the storm within. Mama Ifeoma spoke again, her voice gentle but firm. "Your siblings are busy, Kelechi. Things are hard for everyone." The irony was not lost on him. He could fund their lives for a year without worrying, yet they treated him as if he were destitute. He nodded politely, concealing his disbelief. As he prepared to leave, Mama Ifeoma held up her hand. "Wait," she said, pressing a small silver necklace into his palm. It was a family heirloom, a simple charm from his late father. "It's not money, but it might remind you to stay strong," she whispered. Kelechi's eyes lingered on the delicate piece of silver. He felt a pang of warmth, yet it did little to ease the ache of indifference he had just witnessed. Stepping back into the sunlight, Kelechi felt the weight of disappointment and revelation pressing down. The streets, usually vibrant with chatter and movement, seemed unusually quiet, almost reflective of his inner turmoil. Every step he took was slow, deliberate, as if trying to measure the reality of his family's intentions. He thought about the nights he had spent working tirelessly, the small sacrifices he had made to secure their future, and the unwavering hope he had nurtured for their love beyond material wealth. And yet, it seemed their hearts were tethered tightly to appearances, to the illusion of struggle rather than the truth of devotion. As he reached the corner of the street, his phone rang. The unknown number made him hesitate for a fraction of a second. He answered, his voice steady despite the curiosity rising within him. "Hello?" The calm male voice on the other end spoke with professional precision. "Mr. Kelechi, your investment report is ready. Your account balance has now crossed 990 million naira. The world seemed to pause. His breath caught in his chest, his heartbeat racing like a drum in the silence of the evening. For years, they had treated him as if he were poor. Yet the truth was about to reveal itself, a fortune unimaginable, hidden in plain sight. The sun began to dip behind the buildings, casting a golden glow that shimmered on the streets of Lagos. Kelechi paused and looked back at his family home in the distance. He clenched the silver necklace in his hand, feeling both the sting of rejection and the empowerment of knowledge. He whispered to himself, barely audible above the wind, rustling through the trees. "One day, they will know who I really am." His eyes, once filled with doubt and quiet hurt, now gleamed with resolve. The camera would capture a slow zoom from the side, highlighting both the city's skyline and the solitary figure of Kelechi standing poised on the threshold of revelation. This moment was more than a mere scene. It was a silent promise. Kelechi had learned about the fragility of affection when money is unseen and the resilience required to navigate hearts tied to superficial appearances. He had seen the ease with which his family dismissed him. Yet he had also recognized the power he held hidden in plain sight, ready to unveil at the perfect moment. The music swelled softly, a mixture of piano and distant drums, echoing the pulse of suspense that had grown steadily since the first words of his plea. Each step forward resonated with purpose, signaling the inevitable confrontation of truth that awaited him. And as the day faded into a calm, quiet evening, Kelechi's silhouette stood alone against the fading sunlight, the necklace catching the last rays like a glimmering reminder of both legacy and patience. He had asked for help, and in return he had received a lesson. The lesson was clear. Wealth is not measured by the hands that reach for it, but by the strength of heart to hold it, the wisdom to wait, and the courage to reveal it when the time is right. The evening had settled over Lagos like a warm, heavy blanket, the city lights beginning to twinkle against the fading sunset. Kelechi's mind raced as he held the silver necklace in his hand. The weight of truth pressed down on him, yet he felt no rush to confront his family immediately. He had learned patience. Wealth, he knew, was most powerful when revealed at the perfect moment. The streets around him were alive with chatter, car horns and distant laughter, but he felt as if he were standing in a bubble, detached from the world, ready to unleash the secret that had remained hidden for years. Wide-shot street perspective, golden streetlight glow, returning to his apartment. Kelechi sat down at his desk, opening his laptop and reviewing the numbers once again. 990 million naira. He ran his fingers across the keyboard as if touching the keys could somehow affirm that this was real. For years, he had endured small slights from his family, humble requests ignored, subtle judgments about his apparent struggles. And yet, here he sat, the master of an empire they could not even imagine. His thoughts flickered between anger, amusement, and a deep longing for connection. Soft piano plus distant heartbeat the next morning. He returned to the family home, this time with a plan. Kelechi's demeanor had changed subtly. Confidence now colored his every movement. His modern white shirt was crisp, his jacket perfectly tailored, and his expression calm yet determined. As he stepped into the living room, Ada looked up, suspicion in her eyes. "Kelechi, you're back," she said, attempting nonchalance. Chima's brow furrowed as he glanced at him, sensing a shift he could not yet place. Mama Ifema smiled gently, but questioned softly. "Are you okay, son?" Kelechi paused, letting the silence stretch, building the tension before replying, his voice steady and deliberate. "I am better than okay. I am ready to show you the truth." The family exchanged glances, unease creeping into their expressions. Kelechi reached into his bag and pulled out a sleek folder, sliding it onto the coffee table. Inside were the official documents, bank statements, investment reports, and business contracts that proved his immense wealth. Chima leaned forward, his eyes widening as he skimmed the figures. Ada's jaw dropped, and Mama Ifema's hand flew to her mouth. The room fell into stunned silence, punctuated only by the soft sound of the evening breeze outside. Close-up shocked faces, camera panned across each character. Narrator deep voice. They had judged him for the life he appeared to live, blind to the reality he had created. A life built on patience, sacrifice, and foresight. The truth now lay bare, and the room would never be the same. Chima broke the silence first. How? How did you? His voice trailed off. Kelechi smiled faintly, leaning back as if the weight of years of secrecy had lifted. I wanted to see who loved me and who loved my money. Ada, her eyes glistening with unshed tears, stepped forward. Kelechi, we never imagined. She whispered, I'm sorry. Mama Ifema's voice trembled slightly as she added, We thought you were struggling. We didn't see the sacrifices you made. Kelechi's lips curved into a gentle smile. It wasn't about seeing my wealth. It was about seeing hearts. And today, I know who truly cares and who only pretends. He paused, letting the gravity of his words settle. Slow zoom in. Focus on Kelechi's.com confident face. The tension in the room was palpable, but Kelechi had more than just revelation planned. He had a test of character in Minda, way to truly measure their intentions. I could help you all more than you can imagine, he said softly. But before I do, you must understand something. Love is not measured in naira or kobo. It is measured in action, in care, in respect for one another, even when times seem hard. Soft piano rises, heartbeats subtly in the background. Ada stepped closer, her voice shaky. We want to understand, Kelechi. Teach us. Chima nodded silently, eyes downcast, acknowledging the lessons they had overlooked. Kelechi's mother, tearful, reached for his hand. We have judged you unfairly. You've shown patience beyond our understanding. His smile widened. Then let us start over, he said, voice calm yet firm. Let us rebuild what has been broken, not with money alone, but with honesty and respect. The camera slowly pans to the silver necklace glinting under the warm indoor light. Kelechi places it around his neck. This was never just a gift, he murmured, voice soft. It is a reminder that heritage and love are far more valuable than the wealth I hide. Today, you see the truth. Tomorrow, we act on it. Close-up, necklace, glimmer, fade to soft focus on family faces. The evening wore on. And for the first time in years, the family sat together in conversation, sharing laughter, apologies, and long-held frustrations. Kelechi listened, interjecting only when necessary, letting them discover humility and gratitude on their own. The story of his secret wealth had created ripples, but more importantly, it had created reflection. Wide-shot family together, golden daylight fading to warm indoor lights. Kelechi's thoughts drifted to the proverb his father had once taught him. A family without truth is a home without a roof. He realized now that truth alone is not enough. Understanding, patience, and integrity must accompany it. His family had learned a painful lesson. And he had gained something more valuable than money: clarity, respect, and a chance to shape their hearts. As the night deepened, Kelechi excused himself and returned to his apartment. Alone, he looked at the city lights, reflecting on the journey. The twist, the revelation, the emotional roller coaster of seeing judgment, doubt, and eventual humility had been worth every moment. Camera, aerial shot of Lagos at night, soft piano plus distant drum beat. The final moments filled with reflection, yet with hope. Kelechi sits at his desk, notebook open, pen in hand. Ready to chart the future, not just of wealth, but of family, trust, and understanding. Soft whisper voice over they now see me. But I see them, truly for the first time. And together we can build something stronger than money, stronger than appearances, stronger than fear. Narrator deep tone pause between lines. Sometimes the greatest fortune is not in the accounts you hold, but in the hearts you touch and the truths you reveal. Kelechi had millions. But today, he gained something far more priceless: reconnection, respect, and a family that would never forget the lesson of patience and love. Fade out soft piano continues. Heartbeat fades. Golden light lingers on Kelechi's face. Peaceful, yet reflective,